Hi friends, this is Julie. Welcome back to 15-minute stream of consciousness on each of the 12 zodiac signs. And let's talk about Sagittarius and Jupiter. Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius. This is mostly about the archetype itself, not necessarily about the personification, the sun sign. So, okay, first thing that comes to mind is the image of the glyph of the arrow, like soaring through the air. The glyph for Sagittarius is an arrow, and if you get that feeling of like that's so Sagittarius, soaring through the air, like probably straight up as high as I can go. Jupiter, the gas giant. And fire, it's a fire sign. Sagittarius is mutable fire. And so it's a lot of hot air, the gas giant. And what do I mean by that? Well, when I think of the air signs, I think of mental energy. And of course, as a fire sign, it's got to be meaningful. It's got to be passionate. It's got to be the most important thing ever. You have to understand, and it's big conceptual energy. It's belief systems. That's where we get beliefs. So yeah, a belief is like a foundation for a whole conceptual network. It's not just one idea. It can really offer an entire foundation for how a person leads their life. And if we think about beliefs like moral codes, things like the paramitas, the vows that a nun or monk might take, or just the moral code that we live our life by, it's prescriptions for behavior that are motivated for a higher purpose. It's something that we're willing to set aside things about ourselves, or we feel moved by this cause. So it's that I feel like it is a combination of like the air, because the gas giant, and the fire, the passion, the meaning. It's so important to me. Yeah. And so, the journey of Sagittarius is about learning about belief systems, learning about the foundation of concept, of where the human is like talking with God, so to speak. The human is talking with the spirit. It's receiving instructions from spirit, and it's moved about. It needs freedom and space. Again, this image of the gas giant, to be moved about by what feels like it's in alignment. And it's kind of like Aquarius in the sense that it needs a lot of freedom and space to explore, to it's that bird's eye view that is zoomed out from everything on the ground. It's that higher. So if Gemini, the polarity point, is focused on the mundane information. I have to get this errand done. It costs this much money, and then I have to go over there and do that. And it's very it's the mind that is zoomed in and focused, funneled in. The Sagittarius is the funnel out, and it's expanding the mind. And that's why it rules travel, like the image of being up in an airplane above the surface of planet Earth. It's this bird's eye view where it can collect information from a kind of abstract place about different cultures, the cosmopolitan, and it can just learn about the variety and learn from the reference point of zoomed out and higher mind. It rules higher education, so to speak. And I think, in this world that can mean like college or secondary schooling, or learning higher information like that, where it's like the Gemini is the foundational information, and then the Sagittarius is the information being built on and expanded on and made abstract and complex. But I think in the more spiritual, esoteric sense, higher education meaning I learned directly from source or spirit, And it's this feeling of the student of life, like the fool card standing on the edge of the cliff with all of his possessions on a stick, just trusting in the universe and taking the leap of faith. Carpe diem. These are all very Sagittarius feelings, like, yeah, go big or go home. Let's go for it. Let's live life. I want to see what's out there. I want to see the bigger picture, the variety. And so I guess in its shadow, it can be fixed in concept. It can be fixed in a belief system. It can kind of be stuck in a Gemini, kind of a paradoxically narrow expanse where there is this belief system that I was raised into. It's what, I was raised into the Catholic Church, and that is like the answer, period. All the teachings there, the moral code there. And if that works, then that's wonderful. But it becomes a shadow and not a glory when it's actually obscuring what's true, when a belief is taken by the mercurial mind and ran with, and it's pinned down, and it's saying, this is the truth, period, because that would be the Gemini mercurial mind wanting to grasp Jupiter, but it's hot air. You can't grasp it. You can't tie it down. And you can't fully comprehend it. So the thing with Sagittarius is that it needs this feeling of openness and expansiveness and higher zoomed out vantage point, because if it gets too contracted, too zoomed in, and it defines itself by a certain belief system, by a certain moral code, without having the variety, the vantage point of variety, where it can see like, okay, that's one belief system and moral code. That's another belief system and moral code. And I encompass all of them, It's this higher truth that it's going for. I definitely feel, like the word truth with Sagittarius. And it's different from when I say truth with Scorpio. It's like the Scorpio is more so like the detective, like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I need to know, like, conspiracy theory almost, although that can get kind of Aquarian truth too, where it's thinking outside the box. But with the Scorpionic truth, it's more like the detective, the investigator, the private eye who doesn't really trust what it's being told at face value. It doesn't trust institutions like doctors or the FDA to tell it like what is safe to consume or something like that. It doesn't maybe even trust its partner to tell it what the truth of a scenario is. Instead, it digs deeper, it pries, and it wants to know, no, what really happened? What's really the ingredients here? What's really up with like GMOs? What is in the ingredients into this this medication you're giving me? Like, what's actually at the root of this? So like the Scorpio energy is more so prying in like that. But the kind of truth that the Sagittarius is looking for is this the feeling of like absolute truth in as much as the human mind can grasp it. It's this touching onto the impossible level of grasping at what the truth is. So that's where you get philosophy, and that's where you get like all spiritual teachings like Sufism, non-dualism, Buddhism, everything where there's an effort being made to articulate that which is beyond articulation. And that's why it's a mistake to really pin it down and to really get into like analyzing the literal text of scriptures in a way that's too literal and too mental bodied, too Gemini, and detached from the heart, because the heart is the fire. And it's like, does it move me? Like, how do I feel after reading this scripture? Am I motivated to be the best person I can be? Am I motivated to help others, or to purify or whatever? Do I feel like inspired, and can I feel like the tingling magic of the mystery of existence heightened? Or am I in my head and I'm debating and I'm saying, like very literally, like, eat this food, don't eat that food. That's what was being said by this scripture, where it's too narrow in focus, and the beliefs are about things that are inconsequential ultimately to Jupiter. They're only consequential to Mercury. So like in there, it's like needing to take things metaphorically, needing to, yeah, speak symbolically or be poetically more so. Um, Almost like Pisces in that sense. Pisces is also traditionally ruled by Jupiter and is also touching spirit and moved. When I said poetically, that's where the association Pisces came in. It's moved in this abstract, metaphorical way. It's not, a Pisces isn't going to like follow a strict diet because it'll get closer to God, like in theory. Like that's Virgo, and that's Mercury, and that's Gemini. That's the zoomed in, like specific forms. But the Pisces is just the feeling of oneness, just directly touching and identifying with that which it is beyond. And yeah, in the Sagittarius, it is an outer planet, is beyond, well, it's like an outer inner planet, but it's towards the edge. It's a bigger planet. It's an outer planet. It's yeah, and it's kind of on that boundary, on that, it's like touching the thresholds of human comprehension. It's that feeling you get when you do self-inquiry and you're like, wait, like, whoa, who am I? And it's that feeling of like, whoa, the mystery, like, what is anything? And there's such a giant meaning and purpose behind whatever this Sagittarius sun is engaged in. It's big, it's tremendous. Like you have that belief, like it's so big, it's so important. Like that's the expression of a Sagittarius when they come up against the possibility that someone else might see something differently, in the sense that like what they're believing is so much a part of who they are and what reality is and what truth is to them. And yeah, so I'm having a cool thought. There's these, in Tibetan Buddhism, treasure revealers. There are these people, could be me and you, who feel randomly inspired to just go to that lake on a sunny day or a rainy day, or go to this place on earth. They have a dream telling them at this time of day, go to this place on earth. And so they go there, and then like there's a magical thing that happens. Like a Buddhist sacred object will come out of a rock. It'll materialize out of a rock, or the ocean will open up and a sea monster will come out of the sea and open its mouth, and inside of it is a scroll that, written in Tibetan, are Buddhist teachings. And all of a sudden, this treasure revealer knows how to read Tibetan, or knows how to translate it into whatever language it needs to translate it to. And these are how some of these Tibetan Buddhist teachings have been received. If you are like, what are you talking about? Look this up. It's totally mind expanding and worth it. Treasure revealers, or Terma, Terma. Look it up. It's like the coolest thing ever. And for me, that is like so perfectly the Sagittarius archetype, to have the spaciousness and freedom within your life, to feel the call and to listen to it and to go there. And some magical synchronicity, like mind-blowing, be like just incredible, actually happens. And you receive these teachings, this Buddhist wisdom, on, yeah, just instructions for a meditation practice or something like that. Yeah. Okay, anything else with Sagittarius? The centaur, this like muscular, like flying, powerful embodiment. Okay, anything else? That feels complete. So that's Sagittarius. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. If you're interested in a reading, you can contact me at prismclouds@gmail.com. I'll put that and my website in the description box below, along with any afterthoughts if I have any. Join me next time for whatever next zodiac sign I do.